Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 3710 North Arlington Place here in Portland. We're located on the back side of the house. We're in this kind of L-shaped portion of the house right outside the kitchen window here. Also through that wall is a bathroom. We've got a 4-inch cast iron cleanout. We're going to check the overall condition, serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running, and we're going to zero out here at the base of the cleanout. Alrighty, and this is my guess here is going to be a wraparound sewer line, old cesspool or septic conversion. Alright, so immediately upon access here, we're getting underwater. Can't tell if we've got a blockage in the line here or what my camera's banging into. Alright, I'm going to turn the water off here. I can actually hear my camera underground smacking into something that sounds like plastic. We might have a big old offset pipe joint or something like that. You can see what my camera's kind of running into right now. Yeah, but it looks like an offset. Or that, or it's a terribly separated joint. We'll see. Alright, so yeah, you've got a severe offset here, and also it looks like probably a separation. I know recently a scope was done. They had called for cleaning. This may not have been evident. Sometimes what happens when you get enough debris that builds up in a line, it'll pack into this space right here in the joint, and when the first camera goes through, there's a debris ramp that the camera can just go right up over the top of this. But once the camera has gone through there over and over again and has loosened that debris up, a couple toilet flushes later, it breaks loose, and this is what you're left with. So that offset there is gnarly. I don't even want to try and get my camera to go over the top of it. It completely fits underneath it. So you've got the better part of you're getting close to 2 inches offset there. You've lost close to half the diameter of the pipe in that location. And this is it looks like someone, yeah, that's spot repaired there. That's plastic. So whoever did the install on that did not compact anything, and it sank like crazy. So this is something I highly recommend repairing. We're only 2.5 feet outside the house right here. If you get a blockage at 3 feet, your backup happens instantaneously. There's no chance for head pressure to develop to bust the blockage loose. You know, even if this offset were 50 feet from the house, it's something I would still highly recommend a repair on. But at that distance, you're going to have some leeway, and by and large, many of as long as it's toilet paper, the head pressure would likely bust things loose and get things flowing again. But right here, I mean, between this point and where the toilet's at, you've probably got barely 5 feet of pipe between the two. So anyway, I'll get this located and marked for repair. Highly recommend getting that dealt with, and then a rescope afterwards to check the remainder of the work. And or if there's a good video, I'm happy to take and review that other one if they were able to get over the top of this thing. Alrighty, got this thing located here. It's very close in, and it's just under the dirt, thank goodness, at only about 2 feet deep. You'll see a pink marking here, and there is a paver it's likely sitting partially over this, so you'll see a pink X marking here. Just keep in mind that it might be just slightly adjacent to that where the actual issue is. Digging that hole, you're going to expose it either way. And there's enough standing water here, I can't tell if this is just simply a spot repair, or if they wired some piece of plumbing into here at some point, like for an addition. I just can't see it, so it's possible that's what's going on. But that is something you very, very much want to fix there. The combination of two, it might be even worse than that. Your line here is almost completely submerged. You've got a solid 2 to 3 inches of standing water there, and a dang near 2-inch tall lip on the cast iron. I mean, that is just a blockage waiting to happen about every time you flush the toilet right there. And I don't say that just to freak. I've been doing this 13 years. A lot of sewer issues don't spooked me a whole lot. That's one you want to deal with right there. It's so close proximity that it would take very little to get that thing to block and back up on you. You know, one little old lady in here using the bathroom once or twice a day might be able to get by, but if you have any amount of people in this house at all, especially with kiddos, that's going to cause some problems there. And obviously we need to see the remainder of the line, which there may be a video of that. Sounds like there was one potentially made recently. We'll see. If not, you know, obviously a rescope needs to take place after this to check the remainder of the sewer line. But anyway, there's your clean out right there. Pink dot right there. I'll make that a little bit bigger once I move the camera, but you're about 2 foot deep there. And when you do the rescope on that, you want this thing buried. Not that it's some massive giant trench that needs to be dealt with. But either way, that piece of pipe, for instance, right there probably looked totally fine until it got buried. That's when all of your settling issues happen. So you want to do your rescope after everything's buried to make sure it's handling the load on top of it. And what happens a lot of the time with these, especially if someone's out here, you know, has someone that's not terribly experienced, the pipe wall thickness between this area of cast iron and ABS is humongous. ABS is, I mean, maybe a little bit more than a 1/4 inch thick, where a lot of this cast iron from this era is, I mean, pushing an inch thick. So if you don't compact the soil well and you just drop a piece of pipe back in its place without recompacting and regrading, this is what you end up with. It's just a bunch of settling and an offset. So it happens. Anyway, we'll see how the rest of it looks once this thing is all repaired.